to episode 43 of the ArcticCrafts podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as ArcticCrafts, on Facebook and Etsy as ArcticCrafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as ArcticCrafts65. I also have a group on Ravelry where you can participate in make-alongs, giveaways, and I also have a Ko-fi page where you can buy me a cup of coffee. So I have money for sending out prizes and new equipment and stuff for the podcast. And speaking of equipment, you have to apologize the lighting, because now we're in that transition period where I have about enough daylight for podcasting, but not quite enough. So probably next time I have to use artificial lighting in addition to the daylight. And that means I need to get hold of some light source, because what I have isn't good enough. So that's it. And about coffee, I have something to say about that at the start of the episode. And I have something else to talk about. The reason why I stopped my Vlogtober episodes, and the reason why I almost didn't record today, but decided to do it anyway because I have a lot of stuff to show you, is because my mother is critically ill, and that's why I stopped Vlogtober rather suddenly. And now we come into my coffee, because for the month is almost over, but until the end of the month, all the money that goes into my coffee account gets transferred to the Norwegian Cancer Society, which is an organization that helps people with cancer and their families, and also donate to research in cancer. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I can't be with my mother. We went there for fall break, so we got to see her, but I can't be with her at the moment for several reasons, COVID being one of them. So what I did what I do best. I dyed yarn, and I dyed up a new colorway that I've called Resilience, and this is what it looks like. And because of the lighting, probably it's not blue, it's gray. It's a gray in the bottom with specks of bright colors, and I call this Resilience, and this is in honor of my mother. And €2 from each skein sold goes directly to the Norwegian Cancer Society. And these have been in my shop for about a week. I did a special update last Sunday to put these in the shop. And this is it on worsted. 50 gram platinum socks. Corriedale. And I also have Polldale sock sets. 100 gram main skein and 2 minis in purple and hot pink. And my coffee out this month, as I was saying, everything gets sent to the Norwegian Cancer Society. I'm aware we're at the end of the month, but I haven't been podcasting, so I started the whole thing when I put this yarn in the shop. So that's what I wanted to say at the beginning of the episode. This might be oversharing, but I thought you deserved an explanation to why I've I stopped my Vlogtober and why I haven't been as active on Instagram as I normally am. And with that out of the way, we can start with the knitting content. And we can start with what I'm wearing, because this is one of my FOs. It's my Topolino by Isabell Kraemer. To stand on my toes so you get to see the pattern at the bottom. And it also has a lace panel at the top of the sleeve and at the bottom of the sleeve. As you can see the transition between the top of the sleeve and when I continue the sleeve. But that's what you get with hand-dyed. Sometimes, even though you alternate skeins, you can get a visible transition. But I don't care. I love this sweater, and I already worn it outside the house because we went to quiz night on Wednesday, mostly to get out of the house because I haven't been a lot out of the house for the last couple of weeks. It got a bit too big for me, but our tumble dryer has a wool setting, and I decided to try if I could shrink it just a tiny bit. So I did it on 5 minutes at a time and then opened and checked, and it fits perfectly. The only thing is the sleeves got a bit too short. They're kind of a bit too short to be bracelet length and a bit too long to be 3/4. So, but I think that's easily fixed, because when the next time I'll just soak just the sleeves and stretch them a bit and let them dry flat instead of putting them in the tumble dryer. So that's what I'm doing with this. And I have a couple of other FOs. I don't have a lot of whips today, but I think this explains it. The other 2 FOs I have, none of these you've seen before, because I've finished them, started and finished them since the last podcast. And this is the first one. My manu was a bit open in the neck, so I wanted something I could have under it when I wore it outside. And I have to stretch for my show notes because I've put them where I can't reach them. So this is It's a Wrap Cowl by Melissa Littlefield of Knitting the Stash. That's her podcast. It's a really good podcast, so if you haven't, you should check it out. And I had a skein left of the contrast color I used from a manu, and this is Richard de Vries in the thin base, and the colorway is Lightly Divine. And this is she has 2 different options for this cowl. One is just this bit, and the other one is with a long rib at the start. And the point with this rib is that when I put this on, this rib is so long that I can put it inside the sweater, so the sweater stops here. And because I used the same yarn as I did for the contrast color in the manu, it looks like a part of the sweater. So that's brilliant. So this is an FO, and I have one more thing. I've knit a shawl since I saw you last, and it's the Surge by Lisa Mutch. And this is what it looks like. It's a long, kind of shallow or narrow shawl, and that makes it perfect because you don't have a lot of fabric in front, but it's long enough to go around your neck. And the yarn I've used for this is it's supposed to be a 2-color shawl, but I added 1 stripe of a bright color just because I needed it. And because of the lighting you can't tell, but this green is neon. Hopefully I get to fix some of the lighting issues in editing. The yarn I've used for this is Guppy by Hedgehog Fibers. The neon green is from Das Monschaft, and it's Heisenberg. The colorway is Heisenberg, and the base is Pegasus. And the cream is just undyed fine merino from my own stash. It's a base I don't dye anymore, and I have a few skeins left that I can use for stuff like this. So this is finished, and now I've shown it to you, I can start using it. So that was my FOs, this Topolino and the serge and the cowl. And that's it, because I wanted to finish this sweater and the shawl. I knit the shawl in 3 days because I didn't knit on anything else. And it's a garter, but because it's garter and sort of mindless, I of course had to rip back twice because I didn't pay enough attention. And that's the scary bit with stuff like this, because it's garter stitch and it's only short rows and it's back and forth, and I didn't pay enough attention. And I've been a bit scatterbrained lately. I hope he's jumping down. He doesn't want to be a model anymore. He didn't want to be on YouTube, so he jumped down. So that was my FOs. How many times am I going to say that? So we'll just start with the whips. And I have one more FO. Suddenly remembered, because it's not with the rest of it. I finished my Halloween socks. And this is Twilight by Turtle Pearl. They are listed as whips in my last podcast. So if I've shown you these finished before, I'm so sorry. But I haven't, as I said, I haven't had the brain power to do a lot of editing and stuff like that. I didn't mean editing, watching back my last episode to check, but this is, as I said, listed as a whip last time. So I don't think I've shown you these finished. And the same with these, they got done by Halloween, so now I can use them. Not that we're going to do anything for Halloween, because Halloween is a new thing. And when I grew up, we didn't do anything for Halloween. We just, All Saints Sunday, we used to go to the cemeteries and light candles on the graves of our loved ones. And that was it. That was what we did. So I have no relationship. I have no... When it comes to Halloween, when my son still was living at home, we decorated a bit for Halloween, and we even made the jack-o'-lantern. But this year I don't feel like it. That's one thing. And so I have a couple of decorations for Halloween. And there will be no trick-or-treating because of the pandemic. So I'm not buying any candy, because the only trick-or-treating happening in Norway this year is that people agree. They make appointments with people they normally socialize with, and if you have to use gloves and a mask, and you can't touch the candy, and there's a lot of rules. So I'm not buying any candy. We don't get a lot of little monsters on the doorstep anyway, and I don't think there will be any this year. So, and one more thing, talking about Halloween. I should have talked about this at the start of the episode, but I do have a Halloween make-along. And there's still time to participate in that. If you've made anything for Halloween, if you made a costume, if you knit something for Halloween, if you crocheted something for Halloween, anything as long as it's crafty and has something to do with Halloween. You can enter it in the thread on Ravelry. And I'm drawing the prize on November 1st. And because it's on Ravelry, I just earburn whoever won. And then it doesn't matter that it's 2 weeks to my next podcast, because the winner gets the message. And the prize is the Halloween collaboration between me and Jibiru Sus. So that's is the prize for the Halloween make-along. And you have until midnight on the 31st to enter that make-along. So that's it. And now we can start with whips. I actually have 2 house, or at least this is a finished sock. This is this year's Christmas colorway from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's called Silent Night, and it's really, really sparkly. And the pattern, I wanted to knit a pattern, even though this yarn it's kind of difficult to see the pattern. But the pattern is Evergreen by Madeline Gannon. And so this is the first sock. And this is the second sock. I just finished the pattern repeat, and I'm continuing down the leg. So that was that whip. And the other hoe that I'm not so sure I can call a hoe, it's this one, because there's no heel in it yet. This yarn I got in the mail, and I cast these socks on right away, because this base is so insanely soft. It's a new base for Nicole C. Mendes, and she's calling it Shiny Sock. And the fiber content is 60% extra fine merino and 40% tencel. And it's, as I say, really, really soft. So I just had to cast them on. The colorway name is Fox, and because it's her Harry Potter club, it's of course named after Dumbledore's Phoenix. But I was thinking of somebody else when I saw the colorway name, and I wrote on Instagram, I have to cast this on right away, so I'm finished with them by November 5th. And then somebody asked me, why November 5th? And the British people in my my English subscribers, I can't use words today, apparently. My English subscribers would know. Guy Fawkes. Remember, the 5th of November, bonfire night. So this is really, really fitting, both Fawkes and Guy Fawkes. So what I'm going to do here, as you can see, I marked where my afterthought heel is going to go, and I'm going to use the same yarn for the heel, so I get the bullseye effect. Hopefully these will be finished by the next time I'm podcasting, but I can't guarantee anything. And if you'll excuse me, those sounds means that this cat wants to go outside, so I'll be right back. And we're back. So that's, I only have one whip left, and that's one I started last night. It's like I always need to have a sweater on the needles. And I have been thinking about knitting the Rituals by Joji Locatelli, but I decided I wanted to try my single ply in a sweater. And I don't know if you remember, but this yarn was supposed to be the Lana Pullover. And I'm blanking on the name of the designer, EweKnit Toronto, something like that. I'll put it down on the bottom of the screen. but I ended up knitting the Topolino instead. So now I've cast on the Lana pullover, and something is there you have it. So I started this last night. So as you can see, not a lot of progress. This edging was really fun to knit, and it looks exactly as crochet. So that's the neck edging, and it's a really wide neck, and it's an oversized sweater, so it's kind of I'm going to knit it a bit cropped so I can use it on top of dresses and shirts and things in winter. And the colorway is one of my new colorways. Looks like this in the skein, and the colorway is Plum Jam. I have that in store, actually on singles. So I have two skeins of single ply in the shop in the colorway Plum Jam. So as soon as I'm done talking to you and editing this podcast, I'll be knitting more on that one. And it's flying off the needles because it's the yarn is so nice to knit with. So I've never knit a single ply sweater before, but I think with an oversized sweater, single ply is perfect because it's really drapey. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that sweater will look like when it's finished. And I won't put it in the tumble dryer, even though it's big. This wasn't supposed to be oversized. That's why I decided to try to shrink it just a little bit. And that's what I have for knitting this time. Because I finished this sweater and I have FOs, I've finished stuff. I started and finished 2 things since I talked to you last. And that's why I haven't got a lot of whips. And for obvious reasons, my knitting mojo hasn't been all that since I talked to you last. So the rest of the weekend is the typical shop update weekend. I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to upload. And because we are talking about shop updates, I have some bad news for you. Norwegian Customs decided to pick the shipment from Gibberoo Zoos that contained the bags for the Christmas collaboration. They decided to pick that particular shipment to check at customs. And that means it's delayed. It's on its way to me now, finally, but it won't be here before Sunday. And I told you 2 weeks ago that the Christmas collaboration would be part of this shop update. Unfortunately, it won't, because the shipment won't reach me until next week. But if you keep an eye on my Instagram and Gibberoo Zoos Instagram, either will do, because we're going to launch this at the exact same time. So keep an eye out on Instagram. And as soon as I know when the update is, I'm going to first post a message about when it's going to be, and I'm also going to post a countdown, and so you know when the update is. I can guarantee you that it will be 8 p.m. Central European Standard Time, but the day I don't know yet. So I'll let you know on Instagram as soon as I know more. And I'm going to show you some of what the collaboration contains, because this is the bag from the collaboration with the polar bears, and this is, the lighting is making everything look bluer than it is. So sorry about that. So this is the bag, and this is the yarn. And again, the lighting is kind of rubbish. But as you can see, this collaboration contains a mini set. And the colors are, some of them are typical Christmas colors. And what I've done, I've taken the colors from the fabric, and I made 5 minis. And the reason why I picked minis is that it's perfect for people that buy Christmas sock yarn you have for heels and toes. You can also knit yourself a pair of stripy Christmas socks. You can use it for color work. But anyway, this is it. It's in my platinum sock, and it's called Santa's Little Helpers. And as I said, I don't know when this will be in our shops, but sometime next week. And I don't have everything that's going into the collaboration, because in addition to the bag, Gibber Ressus is contributing with a DPN cozy in the same pattern as the bag, and a Progress Keeper, a polymer clay candy cane. So sometime next week. So keep an eye out on Instagram. So sorry about the Norwegian customs. I'm not sure what they thought they were going to find in that shipment, but they were sorely disappointed if they were looking for something untowards, because it was only bags and nothing more. So this Sunday is shop update day, and I haven't been dyeing a lot since the last time, but again, obvious reasons. But I have a tiny bit going into the shop, mostly because I only had 2 dye days since my last update. But what's going into the shop is this colorway. It's not a new colorway as such, but it's new in my shop because I've dyed this up for Tora in Svolvær for her shop, Unstad Design, in Bykiosken. But I never had this in my shop before. And it's kind of a more colorful variation on birthday cake. Instead of speckles, we have I've used more color in this, and the colorway name is Neon Pop, and it's going into my shop on Gold Sport and Platinum Sock. So that's Neon Pop. And I've dyed up some Hygge on Corriedale, and it's an autumn colorway, but the name Hygge is kind of both autumn, winter and summer as well. But the palette is kind of autumn. So that's it, Hygge on Corriedale. And I've dyed up some vintage rose on Natural Boo. That's my merino bamboo blend. And it's a really, really soft mauve color with speckles of mauve and emerald green. And it's named after a bouquet of roses my mother sent me for my birthday last year. So over a year ago. And that's actually just what's the only thing that's going into the shop on Sunday. Next week I think I'm going to be dyeing more, because I'm dyeing up some yarn for Tora in Svolvær. The only thing I know I'm going to dye up more of is Møysalen on sock yarn, because I'm out of Møysalen on 4-ply, both Platinum and Polldale. So I'm dyeing up Møysalen next week. So I guess that's it for now. I won't be going on for too long because I have other stuff to do today. It's Friday and I've decided to finally do some housework. What I have started is decluttering, and I started in the wrong place, to put it like that. I had because my head is rather cluttered at the moment. I decided to test out the theory that if you have a cluttered mind, it helps decluttering your surroundings, and I decided to try that, and it actually helped. I started in the living room and I got these big storage bins, and I started removing knickknacks. You have all these tiny figurines all over the place. They only collect dust, and I've already decided I don't miss them. So I started packing those down into the storage bins, and then I realized I haven't got any place to put these bins. So I can't just have the bins in the kitchen. So then I realized, okay, I've started in the wrong place. I should have made room for these bins somewhere first. So I went outside we have a kind of a shed that's attached to the house. So so I went out there and I started clearing out that space to make room for the bins. And when I finished that, okay, so now I can continue my decluttering, because now I know where I can store the bins. And I'm also going to, among other things, I have one shelf in the kitchen cupboard that's all mugs, because I tend to buy mugs and I get gifted mugs, and most of them I never use. I only use I have 4 or 5 favorite mugs that I use all the time, and the rest never gets used. So I was thinking I'm going to pack down those as well, because it's starting to be a bit crowded, let's say. So I'm decluttering, and I'm going to continue that mission now that I've finished this recording. And look at me going on again after I was saying I was finished. But I've shown you everything I was going to show you, and I will remind you that the Resilience colorway, as long as it's in the shop, it's not just a limited time, it's going forever. As it's in my shop, I will be donating €2 per sold skein to the Norwegian Cancer Society. And that until the 31st, all the money that gets donated to my Ko-fi account gets transferred on to the Norwegian Cancer Society. And that's it. No, I'm finished. And I hope you have a nice weekend and that you're staying safe and healthy. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks, hopefully. Bye bye.